Welcome to Chris Royer Collections. This is the first interview of Halstonette Memoirs. My name is Chris Royer, and I'm a Halstonette, fashion historian, and collector. This is an interview with fashion design professor Michael Kaye, who is the curator for Halston and Ultrasuede, a perfect fit exhibition at the gallery at FIT, which lasted June 15th to July 16th, 2023. The exhibition showcases Ultrasuede garments from Michael Kaye's collection, highlighting key Halston design concepts such as the paperbag skirt, the rock and roll chore jacket, hats, menswear, fragrance, and more. I also loaned several pieces from my private collection to develop the Halston looks and history behind the Ultrasuede garments. I would like to introduce you to Michael Kaye.
I'm Michael Kaye, curatorial advisor of the Halston and Ultrasuede A Perfect Fit exhibition at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City.
What is Ultrasuede?
Ultrasuede was an innovative fabric created in the 1970s using fibers and an adhesive substance. It replaced the need to make clothing in real suede and was, in a way, the start of a sustainable idea in fashion.
Why was it so popular in the 70s?
Ultrasuede looked like real, luxurious suede, but it offered a new modern design sensibility that was emerging at the time with a beautiful array of colors.
What was the history behind Halston discovering Ultrasuede and using it in his collection?
Halston learned of Ultrasuede from the Japanese designer Issey Miyake. He brought it to the forefront of American fashion by designing an elegant, simple shirt-waist belted dress style called the number 704. The dress was so successful, selling 150,000 units in one season, and the demand was so great that everyone from secretaries to socialites wanted to own one or more of the beautiful dresses. Halston then took Ultrasuede into other aspects of fashion, such as menswear, i.e., blazers, and accessories such as hats and handbags. The most popular of all was his collaboration with renowned Hartman luggage. Ultrasuede luggage became the status symbol of the glamorous jet set era.
Why did you choose the paperbag skirt as part of your exhibition?
The paperbag skirt was a very important design that Halston created on his muse and fit model, Chris Royer. Halston created the skirt while draping one day on Chris, and he took a larger size skirt and cinched in the waist with a belt. He liked the way it looked, and he named it the paperbag skirt.
How did you find the Halston ad with Chris Royer flying in the air with the Ultrasuede luggage?
For years, I have been collecting vintage Vogue magazines dating back to the 1960s through the 2000s. Being the fashion lover that I am, I always remembered that magazine ad, and I knew that I had the photo in my collection, and I decided it needed to be a part of this exhibition.
What were the challenges of duplicating the paperbag skirt in the new Ultrasuede since it no longer exists?
There basically weren't any challenges in duplicating the skirt, as I know how to create garments from existing ones. In fact, I had a shell pink colored paperbag skirt in my collection of Ultrasuede from the Halston Sportswear collection, and I was able to create it from that existing skirt. I made it in the famous coffee cream colorway to mimic the ad.
Explain the importance of Ultrasuede worn by both men and women.
Ultrasuede was a unique fabric. It allowed the wearer to go effortlessly from a business to a more formal situation by perhaps just changing their jewelry, i.e., going from work to a social event. I am a child of the 70s, and even my parents wore Ultrasuede to nearly everything they did, even to fly on an airplane when we would go to Hawaii in the winter.
Can you explain the importance of Ultrasuede luggage and the ad campaign, Halston and Chris?
The luggage was an important addition to the fact that the wearer of the clothing could coordinate with their luggage and fly off on their private jets or their Concorde to Europe, Aspen, or wherever their travels took them. They traveled in style with Halston Ultrasuede luggage. There were two ads featuring the Halston luggage that are of the most importance. The first one was of Halston sitting on the floor surrounded by his luggage. The second one is of model and muse Chris Royer jumping in the air, carrying the luggage making it look so free and easy. Photographed by Klaus Lucas.
Why did you choose the rock and roll chore jacket style for the show?
The rock and roll chore jackets are very iconic because Halston took the idea of the chore jacket or overshirt jacket that he wore on a daily basis in Ultrasuede and transformed it into the rock and roll chore jacket for women. Another reason that I chose to feature them in the show is that I knew that Chris Royer had several of the jumpsuits from the Harry Benson photo in wool, and I had at least three different chore jackets that I wanted to exhibit. And we made a great statement by using her jumpsuits and my chore jackets.
As a curator, why was the rock and roll jacket displayed in such a prominent way?
I chose the concept of the jacket for the exhibit due to the fact that there was a famous photograph taken by Harry Benson at the Halston 68th Street workroom surrounded by his Halstonettes and workroom employees. Central to the photo is Chris Royer wearing a green Ultrasuede shirt jacket opened over a black jumpsuit with a diamond by the yard necklace by Elsa Peretti around her neck. This is such an iconic photograph. The second jacket that I had was a chrome yellow chore jacket that was featured on the pages of Vogue magazine photographed by Richard Avedon on the one and only model Janice Dickinson. Chris happened to have the original shoulder bag from that shoot, and I had the Bosch and Lomb sunglasses from that shoot, so we were able to recreate that look as well. Again, another iconic photograph brought back to life.
What inspired you to create the setting of the Olympic Towers?
I was inspired to recreate the setting from a photograph taken by Ron Colella of the jet set guests sitting in the Olympic Tower showroom, waiting for the fashion show to begin. Central to the photograph is Liza Minnelli, surrounded by Martha Graham, Andy Warhol, Bob Colacella, and Victor Hugo. For the set, I created a seated guest mannequin representing Liza Minnelli. The mannequin features a cobalt blue ultrasuede trouser and silk blouse with a beautiful belt with the Halston buckle and an ultrasuede bag at the foot of the mannequin.
Can you speak on the Halston fragrance gifts in the Olympic Tower scene?
Every guest that came to the show was given a special present from Halston. I chose to recreate the scene using the exact Capelli lucite chairs from the showroom. I also created a box of Halston fragrance wrapped in a simple ivory ribbon to depict the gift awaiting the lucky recipient who was there to watch the show.
Talk about the popularity of the Ultra Suede Shirtwaist 704 dress.
The camel-colored shirtwaist style number 704 dress in the collection was also taken from a Vogue photograph on the model, Apollonia, with her hair blowing in the air and a red cashmere cardigan around her neck. As I mentioned before, the shirtwaist dress was revolutionary in the fact that it took the wearer from day to dinner with a simple change of accessories.
Why did you use the Tippy Ultra Suede coat from Chris Roy's collection?
I chose to use Chris Royer's Tippy Ultra Suede overcoat for the simple fact that it was an iconic piece. Halston loved Tippy Hendren, and the other fact was that Chris was gracious enough to lend it for the exhibit. Halston was inspired in creating this Tippy coat upon seeing the unique pale gray color in the Ultra Suede sample fabrics. Chris said this reminded him of the pale gray sky in Alfred Hitchcock's film The Birds, starring Tippi Hedren. This light gray ultra suede double-breasted coat also featured a calla lily collar.
How did you incorporate Halston scarves in your exhibition?
I happen to have an extensive collection of Halston silk scarves, and I chose to use one of the H logo scarves to fold around the inside of the neckline of the Tippi Hedren coat.
What was the Greta Garbo influence with Halston on creating his iconic hat designs?
Halston began his career as a milliner and was quite famous from his work at Bergdorf Goodman and for dressing the First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy. With Halston's use of ultra suede, it was only a given that he would create a hat that would become an iconic version of his design philosophy. Greta Garbo was a client of Halston, and she would walk the streets of New York wearing a simple bucket hat and dark sunglasses. I think it was from here that Halston got the idea to take the concept of the bucket hat and advance it into a more sophisticated version in ultra suede, featured on the cover of Newsweek magazine in the 1970s.
Can you give us more information about the women's and men's fragrance used in the exhibition?
I happen to have an extensive collection of Halston's cosmetics and fragrance items, It was only a given that these iconic bottles, compacts, soap dishes, etc., be featured in this exhibition and to show how he and Elsa Peretti collaborated together and created these world famous designs. Thanks, Chris. This has been a really great project working with you on. Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, Michael, for coming on the first episode of the Halstonette Memoir interview series. If you enjoy the interview, please like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram at Chris Roy Collections for more fashion history content.